From stories across the world to stories here at home, this is the National News Broadcast. A very good evening to you. I'm Nithya De Oliveira.
Good evening. I'm Clifford Richards. First of all, we take a look at the headlines.
The president tells in Latugala that the practice of forgetting the village while in power has been changed. He reiterates the rule of law now exists and there's no room for political revenge. The first stock of fish exports to Ukraine via Mattala airport. The US launches charges against 3 Sri Lankans connected to the Easter attack. A 2-year corona relief package to the cinema industry. Entrepreneur knowledge and financial facilities to the youth through a special program to enhance livelihood. Specialist physician Dr. Palitha Abekon has been appointed as a special representative to the World Health Organization. Preparations for the first stage of production in the island's biggest tyre factory.
Moving on to the stories in detail. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa says that the political behavior of not going to the village while holding power must come to an end. The president reiterates that a sustainable development will be ushered in the villages by providing solutions to the people's problems which they had identified while in the opposition. He made these remarks participating in the Gama Samaga Pilisandara program at the Latugala village in Uhana Ampara today. The 5th Gama Samaga Pilisandara discussion program was conducted today. It was held at the premises of the Latugala Primary School in Veren Katagoda in the Uhana Divisional Secretariat Division 24 kilometers away from the Ampara town. The Latugala village, located in an extent of 9 square kilometers, had been turned into a human settlement with the arrival of 15 families who had escaped the violent Uwavelas rebellion during the era of the Kandyan Kingdom. Presently, there are 231 families comprising 783 individuals living in the village. The main source of livelihood of the people in Latugala and many other villages is chena cultivation, which rely on rainwater. The farmers in these areas are engaged in the cultivation of many crops, including maize, which had been severely affected by the armyworm disease at present. The villages are also being confronted by other problems such as marking of their farmlands as protected territories during wildlife and forest conservation surveys. The people in Uhana, Damana, Galapitaganga and Padiyatalav and also Mahayangana, Dehatakandi and Bandaradua have been able to express their grievances directly to the President on this occasion. The President, responding to a query on lands of chena cultivation, said that the problem has been resolved. He added that officials of the wildlife, forest conservation, lands and archaeology have been instructed to hand back the lands to the villagers. It has been pointed that the villagers are compelled to travel a distance of 16 kilometers to the Uhana dispensary or 24 kilometers to the Ampara hospital to receive medical treatment. The President has instructed officials to set up a primary health center at the Bokabad, the village, as a remedy to alleviate their misery. He has also instructed to provide a new building and a playground to the Latugala Primary School and to have a speedy solution to the teacher shortage and also to expeditiously complete reconstruction of the Ampara-Latugala road. The President has also ordered to hand over road development activities only to responsible contractors. He has also ordered the officials to reconstruct the Kotapandama reservoir to enable farmers to receive water for their agricultural purposes. A speedy solution is also expected to be provided to the problems of drinking water. The President has also ordered to construct a fertilizer storage complex in the Latugala village. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa further said that the people have elected the present government into power in order to change the existing methodology and to create a government which is people-oriented. He also said that those who had violated the law will be punished by the law itself. He further said that he will not engage in political victimization. The President further said that a sustainable amount of work has been conducted in the previous year.
අපේ රජය බලයට පත් කරේ මාවත් ජයග්‍රහණය කරා විශාල ජයග්‍රහණයක්. ඒ වගේම පාර්ලිමේන්තු මැතිවරණයේදී විශාල ජයග්‍රහණයක් අපිට ලබා දුන්නේ. අර තිබිනු ක්‍රමවේදය වෙනස් කළා ජනතාව කේන්ද්‍රීය කරගෙන ජනතාවගේ අවශ්‍යතාවයන් බලාගෙන ක්‍රියා කරන රජයක් රටක් ඇති කරන්න. දේශපාලන ක්‍රමේ පවා වෙනස් කරන්න. ඉතින් අපි දැක්ක පසුගිය වසර 5 තුල දේශපාලන පරිගැනීම් වලින්ම සමානවට අවුරුදු 5ක් තිබුණා. අපේ සියලු දෙනෙක්ම හිරගෙවල් වලට දැම්මා අභූත චෝදනා ගෙනල්ලා. මොකද ඒක සාර්ථක නෑ. එහෙම කරන්න බෑ. එහෙම නෙවෙයි ජනතාව බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ. ඕන දෙයකට සූදානම් පුළුවන් චරිතයක්. බැයි මට අවශ්‍ය ජනතාවට වැඩ කරන්න. ජනතාවගේ ප්‍රශ්න තේරුම් අරගෙන දේශපාලනය කරන්න පුළුවන්. විපක්ෂයත් දේශපාලනය කරන්න ඕන. හැබැයි මේ ජනතාව බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන ඒ සාධාරණ දේශපාලනය ඕන කරන්න. අපි විශාල ප්‍රශ්න රාශියක් තියෙන. දැන් ගමකට ගියාම අපි දකිනවා මේ ප්‍රශ්න. බැයි අපි ගමට යන්නේ ප්‍රශ්න හඳුනගෙන ඒ ප්‍රශ්න වලට සාධාරණ විසඳුමක් ලබා දෙන්න. දැන් පසුගිය අවුරුද්ද ඇතුළත අපි විශාල වැඩ කොටසක් කරා. නමුත් විරුද්ධ පක්ෂයත් ඔය සමාජ මාධ්‍යයත් වැරදි මතයක් ජනතාවල් අතරට ගෙනියනවා. ඒවා තමුන්නාන්සලා වටහා ගන්නට ඕනේ.
The President also mentioned that accelerated measures will be taken to obtain the COVID-19 vaccine for the country. Commenting on the corona issue, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa said that he has sent personal letters to Chinese President and the Indian Prime Minister requesting at least a portion of the corona vaccine. He added that the remaining quantity will be purchased through the market.
ඉන්දියාවේ අගමැතිතුමාට පුද්ගලිකවම ලිපියක් ලිව්වා. චීනයේ ජනාධිපතිතුමාට පුද්ගලිකවම ලිපියක් ලිව්වා. ඉක්මනින්ම ඒගොල්ලෝ සූදානම් වෙච්ච විගසම අපිට මේ එන්නත ලබා දෙන්නට කියලා. දැන් අපිට ලෝක සෞඛ්‍ය සංවිධානයේනොත් ඉන්දියාවෙනොත් චීනෙනොත් යම් කොටසක් අපිට නොමිලේ ලබා දෙයි. ඊටු කොටස අපි මිලදී ගන්නවා. ඒක ප්‍රශ්නයක් නෙවෙයි.
On this occasion, 3 computers donated by Sri Lanka Telecom and Mobitel Institutes were handed over to the Latugala and Vidyaloka Vidyalayas. State Minister Bimala Weeradisanayake, Provincial Governor Anuradha Yahampath, Parliamentarians W.D. Veerasinghe, Tilak Rajapaksha, A.L.M. Athaula, President's Chief Advisor Lalit Veeratunga, as well as secretaries to several ministries, have also participated in the Gama Samaga Pilitanzara program.
Exporting of the first stock of fish to Ukraine from the Matala airport took place yesterday. Sri Lanka exports small fish in large quantities to Ukraine. Nearly 660 kilos of fish were exported yesterday. The stock comprised of prawns and other small varieties of fish. A special feature was that fish stocks were stored in the same aircraft in which Ukrainian nationals were returning to their country. The fish stocks have been supplied mainly by producers in Negombo and Katun area. Director Operations of the Airport and Aviation Services Company, Shehan Sumanasekara, says the plans are underway to turn Matala Rajapaksha Airport into a centre to export produce to foreign markets.
The U.S. Justice Department has charged 3 Sri Lankans with supporting terrorism for their participation in the Islamic State-claimed Easter attacks on churches and hotels in 2019 that killed 268 people. The department said that 3 were part of the ISIS in Sri Lanka group behind the attacks on the 3 churches and the 3 luxury hotels in 3 cities on the Christian Holy Day on April 21st, 2019. The Justice Department announced yesterday that 3 Sri Lankan citizens were charged with terrorism offences, including conspiring to provide material support to a designated foreign terrorist organisation. The suspects were part of a group of ISIS supporters that called itself ISIS in Sri Lanka and allegedly was responsible for the 2019 Easter attacks in Sri Lanka, which killed 268 people, including 5 US citizens, and injured over 500 others, according to a federal criminal complaint unsealed yesterday. The complaint outlines the defendants' roles in the conspiracy and the events that led to near-simultaneous suicide bombings in Sri Lankan cities of Colombo, Negombo and Batticaloa on April 21, 2019. 2 days after the attacks, ISIS claimed credit for the terrorist acts, attributing the murders to Islamic State fighters. In a statement, United States Attorney Nick Hanna has indicated that the United States will remain confident in the Sri Lankan authorities' ability to bring the perpetrators to justice, and this complaint makes clear that the U.S. Justice Department is ready with these charges in the event the defendants attempt to evade justice. The U.S. Justice Department has further indicated that one of the suspects charged is Mohammed Naufar, alleged to be the second emir and the recruiter and trainer for ISIS in Sri Lanka, while the other two suspects, Mohammed Anwar, Mohammed Rizkin, had allegedly helped manufacture bombs used in the attacks, and Ahmed Milhan Hayatu Mohammed had been allegedly killed a police officer in the attack. All three are in custody in Sri Lanka, and the Justice Department said it will support their prosecution in that country while maintaining the U.S. charges in the event of their gaining their freedom. The three were charged with providing material support to a designated foreign terrorist organization, and Naufar and Milhan were charged with helping in the military tribe training for the Islamic State.
Now, Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa has presided over a meeting which has focused attention on state intervention for the provision of relief for a 2-year period to the cinema industry to confront the COVID-19 situation. Film directors, producers and cinema hall owners have told the Prime Minister at the meeting held at Temple Trees yesterday that the cinema industry is facing a grave crisis due to the COVID-19 pandemic. They have presented a practical program to uplift the industry and also an analysis on the current situation. The Prime Minister promised to conduct talks with the relevant institutions in order to take decisions. Minister Bandula Gunawardena as a film producer and Minister Sarath Weerasekara as a film director also took part in the discussions. State Minister Ajit Niwad Cabral, Parliamentarian Jayantha Katagoda, Prime Minister's Secretary Gamini Senarath, Chief of Staff of the Prime Minister's Office Yoshitha Rajapaksa, Secretary to the Ministry of Finance S.R. Artigala and Secretary to the Ministry of Religious and Cultural Affairs Professor Kapila Gunawardena, officials of cinema directors, producers of organizations and many artists associations have also attended. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa declared open the Popitigama Cultural Centre today. It was constructed by the Ministry of Buddha Sasana Religious and Cultural Affairs under the Rata Hadana Saubhagya Dakma Development Programme at a cost of 25 million rupees. Ministers Johnston Fernando, C.B. Ratnayaka, State Ministers D.B. Herath, Anuradha Jayaratna and Sanath Nishantha have also attended the event. Now, in the meantime, Director General of Health Services Dr. Asela Gunawardena says that steps have been taken to increase the COVID-19 testing capacity in the country up to 20,000 tests a day by the end of January. He made these remarks during a media briefing held today.
Our laboratory testing capacity is nearly 17,000 per day. And we are planning to increase up to 20,000 end of January. And we are hoping to open up 3 laboratories, one at Teaching Hospital Kurunegala, one at NHS Kaluthara, and other one is Kegol General Hospital. And the Kaluthara and Kurunegala labs are almost ready. We are hoping to increase the capacity up to 20,000 end of January by opening up 3 laboratories as well as the laboratory at Colombo South Teaching Hospital and increasing the capacity of the existing laboratory at Kandy and MRI.
Chief Epidemiologist Dr. Sudath Samaravira says that the public should be responsible and strictly adhere to health guidelines following the resumption of state and private sector offices and its operations, and also the commencement of the new school term. He made these remarks during a media briefing today.
Since the beginning of October last year, the work in offices and other places, especially in the government sector, has restricted very much to prevent spread of COVID-19. In most instances, the staff calling for work was halved. But now that we can't go on like this, we have to now that again that function all the institutions, all the offices and factories, everything in full capacity. The need will be coming very soon. So with that, the government will decide to call all the full maximum capacity of the staff for work. With that, all the people should keep in mind that there will be a top traveling from home to offices and for various needs, and also when the schools are opening, there will be more and more movements. So with that, all the people has the responsibility to act in a way that to prevent COVID-19 spreading among in the society. The global community is having very much expectation on COVID vaccines. Several countries has rolled out giving the vaccine to their populations, and through the COVAX facility that we expect that we will be also receiving vaccine very soon. Within the first quarter of the year, we hope that Sri Lanka will get some quota of vaccine free of charge, and the advisory committee on communicable diseases will sit this week and will decide on what vaccine will be most appropriate to our country and how to administer that, and also who are the priority population groups to get this vaccine. Among the priority groups that we have already identified, the healthcare workers as well as the frontline workers, especially working with COVID-19 prevention work, and also the people aged 60 or above, and people even below 60 if they are suffering from chronic diseases, and also people who are working at very crucial points like harbour, airports, then power generation sites are identified as priority groups that this need to be vaccinated as early as possible.
We now have a brief update about the local COVID-19 situation. The National Operational Centre to Prevent the Spread of COVID-19 says that several areas in the Kurunegala district have been turned into isolated areas. With effect from this afternoon, the number of those fully recovered from the disease has risen to 40,838. The Munmana and Vattav Grama Nildhari divisions in Pannala in the Girula Police Division have also been isolated with effect from this afternoon. The National Operational Centre further says that several selected areas in Koskote in the Pujapitiya Police Division have also been isolated. 27 persons who have disregarded health protective measures in the Western Province were arrested in the 24 hours that ended at 6 o'clock this morning. 125 persons under treatment at COVID-19 treatment centres in the Kurunegala district left today after recovering from the illness, and they were residents of Colombo district and also prison inmates. The percentage of fully recovered patients has increased to 85.79% or 40,838. Accordingly, 13.74% or 6,539 patients are undergoing treatment. 297 COVID-infected persons were found today. 279 of them are contacts of the Paliguda COVID cluster, and 18 of them belong to the prison cluster. (15,472) PCR tests have been conducted yesterday. A total of 1,378,121 tests have been conducted so far in the country. The Health Minister says that it will be possible to overcome the shortcomings detected in the pilot project in bringing in tourists into the country. 4 more COVID-related deaths were reported in the island today. The deceased were residents of Mount Lavinia, Kathankudi, Vallampiti and Opanaga. Dead were reported to be aged 58, 64, 74 and 76. The Mediation Board, which have been temporarily suspended due to the corona pandemic, have resumed operations today. Accordingly, the board activities are being carried out according to the health guidelines in all areas than in the high-risk areas.
Now, Senior Advisor, Sri Lankan Ministry of Health, Dr. Palitha Abekon has been appointed as a Special Envoy of the World Health Organization on COVID-19. Dr. Abekon has been appointed alongside 6 other Special Envoys to coordinate the global response to COVID-19. The appointment of the new Special Envoy was announced by Director General of the World Health Organization. The Special Envoys have been tasked with providing strategic advice and high-level political advocacy and engagement in different parts of the world while working in close collaboration with WHO regional directors and country officers to coordinate the global response to COVID-19. Some key functions include amplifying the messages of the Director General, disseminating WHO guidance on COVID-19 readiness and response, partaking in high-level advocacy and political engagement, providing strategic advice on preparedness, readiness and response to COVID-19 outbreaks, engaging with regional bodies and national governments and reporting regularly to the Director General on their work and the situation in the country. As a Harvard scholar, Dr. Palitha Abekon, who worked previously as the WHO Southeast Asia Regional Advisor on Human Resources for Health and the Director of Health Systems Development. A former president of the Sri Lanka Medical Association, Dr. Palitha Abekon serves as a member of the WHO Global Learning Academy and the Regional Directors Research Advisory Committee.
Chairman of the Presidential Task Force on Economic Revival and Elimination of Poverty, Basil Rajapaksa, has instructed minor entrepreneur development officials to identify the eligible youth for the livelihood development and for the program to uplift female entrepreneurs as proposed through the budget for 2021. The chairman, participating in a program to enlighten entrepreneur trainee officials and development officials in the minor entrepreneur development sector, has also stated that the selected officials should be provided with business knowledge and financial literacy. The meeting has taken place at Temple Trees yesterday. Mr. Basil Rajapaksa has further pointed out that the special task has been entrusted upon minor business development officials to unveil new sources of livelihood to youth on the rural level through implementation of the 2021 budget proposals under the Gama Samaga Pilisandarak Tulin Vada Samaga Yali Gamata program. The main objective of this year's budget is to strengthen the people's economy and to eliminate poverty by means of livelihood development and provision of basic infrastructure facilities for the rural masses. The chairman of the Presidential Task Force has also instructed the officials to coordinate development projects being implemented on the village level through representations in the rural committees in parallel to the program to implement budget proposals for the year 2021. Mr. Rajapaksa has also enlightened the officials on the problems existing at rural level. Proposals have also been presented regarding introduction of new livelihood strategies. It has also been pointed out that a sum of 185 million rupees has been allocated through the budget for minor entrepreneur development. Out of this sum, 80 million rupees has been set aside for marketing facilities development, 16 million rupees for technical knowledge and manufacturing development, 28 million rupees for the entrepreneur skills development, 20 million rupees for financial facilities, and 13 million rupees for business advisory services. Chairman of the task force has further pointed out that the officials have been entrusted with a significant task when considering the massive financial allocations for livelihood development in their ministries. The relevant projects hopes to generate indirect job opportunities for 1,000 food producers and mobile salespersons, as well as for supplies of raw materials. It is also anticipated to sell daily 50,000 litres of herbal porridge and liquid milk. State Minister Thenuka Vidanagamage, Secretary of the Ministry of Youth and Sports, Anuradha Vijaykon, and a large number of state officials in the minor entrepreneur development sector have also attended this meeting.
Now, 4 former directors of the ETI company have been placed under detention till the 12th of this month. The order in this connection has been delivered when they were produced before the Hosdorf Additional Magistrate, Ruan Nelundenia, this afternoon. The former 4 ETI company directors have been re-arrested by the Department of Criminal Investigations last evening on the instructions of the Attorney General. They've been charged with the misappropriation of funds amounting to nearly 6.8 billion rupees. Accordingly, those arrested were Jeevaka Edurusinghe, Asanka Edurusinghe, Deepa Edurusinghe and Nalaka Edurusinghe. They've been produced before the Hosdorf Magistrates Court upon recording statements. At this instance, depositors of the ETI Finance Company engaged in a protest in front of the courts. It was on the 6th of this month that the former directors were initially taken into custody on charges of illegal possession of 13.7 billion rupees and also on money laundering. However, they were later released on bail. Additional Magistrate Ruan Nelundeni has ordered today to remand the suspects till the 12th of this month.
Relevant screen testing of ChannelEye Rupavahini Corporation training program for television program presenters and news presenters has commenced at the Rajatha studio of the corporation today. The SLRC has taken measures to conduct the course with the theoretical and practical components for the youth who aspire to enter the television media field. The tests are being subjected through a thorough supervision by 2 teams of veterans in the media and communication field. The procedure will be carried out for 5 days starting today at the Corporation. Director of Educational Programs of SLRC, Erin Vijaykon, says all relevant activities pertaining to the training program are being carried under the guidance of the Corporation Chairman Dr. Nihal Jayatilaka and Director General Ajith Naragala.
Now, the first stage of construction of Sri Lanka's largest tyre manufacturing plant will be declared open on the 14th of this month. It will be located in the Sri Lanka Board of Investment Industrial Zone in Vagavatta, Horana. It will also be the biggest tyre manufacturing complex in Southeast Asia. The factory, named as Rigid Tyre Corporation, which is a $250 million investment. The factory complex will be constructed in an extent of 160 acres of land. The anticipated cost of construction in the initial stage is $100 million. Preliminary buildings have already been constructed in an extent of nearly 70 acres. The nature of the investment model is to manufacture produce of value adding local characteristic using local resources which could be carried forward to the international market. The entire manufacturing process is powered by European technology. Around 3,000 employment opportunities are expected to be generated through this investment project. In the first stage, tyres for motor cars, motorcycles, three-wheelers, light trucks and buses, as well as other industrial heavy vehicles are to be manufactured under the brand name Ferrantino. According to the investment agreement, this is mainly an export-oriented industry. Around 80% of the products are to be imported and the remainder will be issued for local consumption. Executive Director of the company, Dhammika Lokuvithana, says that a higher percentage of tyres for domestic use will be motorcycles and three-wheelers. All produce will be subjected to standardization tests according to international specifications. Another concern of the project is to uplift rubber planters and to encourage them to produce high-quality rubber. A 4-storied officials' residential complex for the staff will also be constructed within factory premises. State Minister for Aviation Services and Export Zone Development, D.V. Chanaka, has inspected the factory yesterday. The State Minister also declared open the fire extinguishing unit of the Vagavatta Investment Board factory zone. Japan has donated the Sri Lanka Board of Investment 2 firefighting vehicles to be used in this connection.
Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa has provided solutions to decade-long unresolved problems of the people in Irudheniyaya in Polpithigama today. He was participating in the national program titled Gama Samaga Pilisandarak Tulin Veda Samaga Yali Gamata. The event has taken place at the Kattamberiyaya Primary School in Makulupota. It has been recalled that the government of President Ranasinghe Premadasa had taken over the area for the Department of Forest Conservation through an extraordinary Gazette notification in 1989. As a result, the villagers were deprived of their houses and cultivations. However, in the year 2002, 1,980 acres had been returned to the villagers, but they were not given legal documents of land ownership. The Premier had ordered the authorities to take speedy measures to resolve the dispute. The Minister of Wildlife and Conservation, C.B. Ratnayaka, said that the land will be released expeditiously. Land Minister S.M. Chandrasena said that lawful deeds will be provided within 3 months. Steps are to be taken to minimize elephant-human conflict. State Minister Anuradha Jayaratne said that reconstruction of tanks in the protected areas will commence next Monday. Minister of Highways Johnston Fernando said that the main roads and by roads in the area will be reconstructed. The Prime Minister has given authority to set up communication towers under the Gamata Sannivedan project and to enhance education facilities for children in the area. Accordingly, 99 communication towers will be set up in the Kurunegala district. State Minister Sanat Nishanta has agreed to provide speedy solutions to the drinking water problem of school buildings in the area and also reconstructed and also sanitation facilities to be upgraded. Northwestern Province Governor Raja Kalure, State Ministers D.B. Herath, Anuradha Jayaratne, as well as parliamentarians Gunapala Ratnasekara and Jayaratne Herath, Samanpriya Herath, Sumit Udukumura, Asanka Navaratna, Manjula Disanayaka and Shanta Bandara have also taken part in this discussion. Welcome back, and finally we are heading into the sports news. The Sri Lanka cricket team, after ending its South African tour, has returned to the island from the Mattala International Airport last night. The Sri Lanka team was defeated 2-0 in the two-match test series against South Africa. The Sri Lankan team's next involvement is the forthcoming fixtures against England team, where they will also take part in another two-test match series. The first test is scheduled to commence on the 14th of this month at the Galle International Cricket Stadium. The second test is also scheduled to commence on the same venue on the 22nd of this month. The national television is the official telecaster of the Sri Lanka-England Test Cricket Tournament. Well, that's it on the news. Do enjoy the rest of the programs. Take care and good night.
Good night.